How's it going, guys? John the Basic Expert here, and in this week's video I wanted to do something a little bit different and sort of highlight one of my own games, my Zero-E retro clone that is Wight Box. I have a Kickstarter coming up, and I want to sort of highlight some of the mechanics and what makes my game and my interpretations of Zero-E with implementations of chainmail different from other Zero-E clones, and how it makes for a more heroic game. And what does that is weapon class and fighting capability. So we have a level 4 fighting man here. He has 4 hit die, which gives him a fighting capability as well of 4 normal men, which means in non-fantastical combat, such as against these goblins here, he gets 4 attacks. 4 attacks as a level 1 fighting man, essentially. We have our goblins here. They will wield weapons equivalent to what they seem depicted as in. We got a halberd here, a mace, a spear, a mace, and a sword. They have AC 6, and they are 1/1 hit die. Every creature in Zero-E, and including all character classes, have a D6 for their hit die. So that's going to be our scenario that we're going to set up. And I want to show you this combat situation because it's going to be so different from what you expect in, say, a typical OSR or Zero-E game. Let's say in comparison to Swords and Wizardry, or even Swords and Wizardry, or even Wight Box Fantastic Medieval Adventure game. It's going to feel very different because what those games do, and maybe this isn't the best way to do it, is you get like multiple attacks against 1 hit die or lower creatures, or I think even less than 1 hit die creatures, which is useful, but it doesn't scale with usefulness quite as well. And that's based off of, I believe, Strategic Review issue 1, where Gary first started to nerf our fighting man. So Wight Box deals away with that nerfing, and I think that nerfing is a requirement to keep the fighting man, I think, and you'll see, a very desirable type of fighting character, a very desirable character class. So our fighting man is going to be in plate armor, and he has a sword and shield, so he's going to have AC 2. All weapons do, again, a D6 of damage. And weapon class and to hit modifiers based on weapon versus armor matchups, as well as weapon type matchups, will affect the outcome of things that will happen here. But before we dive into the video, I want to have a word from a new channel sponsor. You probably think you have enough dice. You probably do have enough dice. But that never stops any of us from buying more dice. We have our favorite sets, and sometimes we may even like to use a certain set that has a certain theme in the games we are running or playing in. Well, check out Only Crits for your specialty dice. When they reached out to me for a sponsorship, they asked me what set of dice I wanted. I saw the duck dice, and you all know me, so that means I had to pick that. The dice are a good size, slightly bigger than my other dice, which I like. This makes the numbers easy to read. They offer rounded and hard-edged dice, and many different themes and variations, and they are all well made. Use code TBE at checkout, and you support my channel and my work with your dice purchase, or use the affiliate link below. Alright, so make sure you guys check that out. Only Crits is a great way to support the channel, and if you're looking for a new set of dice, I highly recommend it. I'm actually using them in this video here. So, what we'll do is we'll roll for initiative. We'll assume that encounter distance, surprise, reaction rolls, those have all been handled. It's led to this situation as we see it here, where we have our fighting man who's delving by himself very unwisely, and he runs across 5 goblins in this situation, which we'll see kind of equals out to being a pretty good matchup because he's the equivalent of 4 men. So we're going to see that this is going to end up being about 4 men versus 5. Which is a pretty even matchup in this regard. So, what we'll do is we will roll for initiative. Our hero gets initiative 3. The goblins also get initiative 3. So everyone gets to move at the same time. And I'm going to say that our fighting man is going to move up into the midst of these goblins here. And this guy will move here. And this guy will move up to here. There's no range weapons to be resolved. There's no spells to be cast. These goblins don't cast spells. So we go to resolving combat. Now these guys, the spears, are longer weapons based on weapon class. They're actually, they are 2 classes higher than his sword, which is weapon class 4. A lot of these other ones are maces, and the swords, they are pretty equivalent to the sword. The maces are weapon class 3, and the sword is the same. We'll say is the same weapon class as his, which is 4. The halberd is 9, and the spear is 8. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but our fighting man also has 4 hit die, as I said, and 19 hit points. So we'll see how this situation plays out. Each of these goblins is 1 minus 1 hit die. So these guys get to go first. We'll roll for the halberd guy first. And if we look on the hit tables, he's going against armor class 2, which gives him a -1 to hit. So we'll roll. He rolls a 3, so 3 minus 1 is 4. And I'll also state that he's parrying, so he actually has a -3 altogether, so 0, does not hit. Our another spear guy over here has a -5 against the fighting man. And so -5 based on the armor matchup. Our fighting man is choosing to parry, which causes a -7. There's no chance that this guy is going to hit. They need to hit a 17 to hit his armor class 2. And that's a 9, so it's not going to hit. So we'll get to our fighting man now. We'll resolve his attacks. And he gets, let's see, 4 attacks. So we'll do the first one, and it's going to probably be random. He rolls an 18, and he has a -2 because his sword against AC 6 is -2. He needs to have a 13 to hit. So 16 will hit. And how much damage is he doing? He's doing 2. And let's see, that's going to be... We'll just have it be the one in front of him. We'll do it on the halberd guy, actually. Well, technically via the rules of 0E, many of attacks in this type of melee are random. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6, 7 to 8, 9 to 10. So this guy here, the spear, is getting whacked. Let's see, what's his hit points are 3, so he's at 1 hit point. He gets another attack, which is a 12 minus 2, which is 10, will not hit. He gets his third attack, which is a 15 minus 2, which is a 13. That is just enough to hit. Who's he hitting? 1, so the guy with the mace back here. 3 damage, and that guy has 1 hit point. So this guy's going to die, but he still gets an attack this round, because everything's simultaneous. And he gets his 4th attack. 11, that's a miss. So we'll resolve this guy first. He's dead, but he's going to get to have an attack. 5 is going to miss, so he's dead. Smashed. Bounces off his shield or his armor. We'll give this mace guy an attack. He has, should look up what his, the modifier is for mace versus AC 2, which is -1. Actually -3, because again, he's still parrying. So, 10 minus 3, not going to hit. And the sword guy back here, 10 minus 3, not going to hit. They need a 17. End of the round. We're going to roll for initiative once more. I don't think we need to check for morale at this point. They are evenly matched at this point, so the goblins probably still feel like they have a chance of beating our fighting man here. So we'll roll for initiative for our hero. He gets a 2. The goblins get a 5, so they get to go first. For movement, there's no real movement to be made. So either of these goblins get to go first. We'll go with the spear first. He doesn't have a chance to hit, as we've discussed. He has a -7, but we'll roll anyways. A 13 minus 7 isn't going to hit. He has a -3. 18 minus 3 is 15. Not enough to hit. We'll go with our hero again now. So he gets 1 attack. He has a 15 minus 3 is enough, or -2 is enough to hit. We'll roll a d4, so because it's a 13, we'll roll a d4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, so mace guy is getting whacked. 3, and his hit points are 4, so both of these guys are at 1 hit point. He gets another attack, which is an 11 minus 2, not going to hit. Third attack, 1 minus 2, not going to hit. And a final attack, 5 minus 2, which is not going to not going to hit anything. We'll go with Mace Guy over here. He has a -3 from parrying, and the armor matchup, which is 11, -3, so not going to hit. And this guy is going to have a he's going to have a -4, so that makes him -6. He doesn't really have a chance of hitting 2. He rolls a 20, but 20 -6 is 14. It's not enough to hit. So that's going to not do much to our hero here. New round. We'll roll for initiative anyway, even though it's not really required. Character gets 1. Our goblins get 6. Once again, these guys both get to go. He's going to continue to parry because he can. And so -7, obviously it's not going to hit. 13 -7 is not going to hit. And he gets a -3. 15 -3 is 12. Needs a 17 to hit. Still not going to happen. We'll go with our hero here. 20 -2 is 18. That is going to hit. We'll roll another d4. So 3. 1, 2, 3. Halberd guy is getting hit. For 5 damage, we'll see what his hit points are. 1. So he's dead. And he's already gone this round, so we're just gonna make him dead. Second attack. 2 is gonna miss. Third attack. 10, that's a miss. And fourth attack. 11, that is also a miss. So we'll go with these two guys. The sword guy gets a -6 again, which is 9. -6 is 3, not going to hit. And our mace guy is going to get a -3. 9 -3 is 6, also not going to hit. So new round. We'll keep things going. Our hero gets 4, and goblins get 3. So he would have the opportunity to move more. And I'm going to have him shift into this dead goblin's space here, so that he's only getting attacked by, let's say, well, I think actually the spear can technically reach him from back there, but just so everyone's facing him that way. We'll resolve attacks. Spear, actually the spear shouldn't be going first anymore. It's just in that first round of combat. Now that combat's over, first round of combat's over, every subsequent attack doesn't matter anymore, now that they're locked in melee. So we'll resolve his attacks first. Our hero, a 9 will not hit any of these guys. A 13 will not hit with the -2. That's 11. Third attack, a 9 will not hit. 1, no hits that round. Let's give some of these guys the spear. It's a 3, that's not going to hit. The mace, which is -3. 17, not going to hit. And the sword guy has a -6, so 0, not going to hit. New round, roll for initiative. We have our hero with a 4. We have our goblins with a 3. And what I am going to do now at this point is that, to me, it seems to make sense that some retreating would occur. So let's roll 2d6. We have 6. And according to morale, that's an orderly retreat. So, I don't remember what I rolled for initiative, but we'll roll again. Doesn't matter. 3 for our hero, 1 for the goblins. So they're going to try and like do an orderly retreat in movement. And maybe he doesn't know that. So he's going to move. We'll have him move back into the midst of them here. They're going to try and move away. We'll have this guy go here, and we'll have this guy go here. So he gets 4 attacks. And remember, these guys are at 1 hit point each. 18 is going to hit, and this is the only one near him, and it only has 1 hit point, so this guy is going to die. We'll resolve his attack here. 3 wouldn't have hit anyway, so in his retreat, he tries to run, he's slain, goes down. New round. This is when initiative matters, because now they're trying to retreat. So hero gets 5. These guys get 3. And he's going to move in and engage them. So again, so that, they can't try and escape here. We'll do some combat here. Spear, we'll let him go first, our hero. He rolls an 8 for a first attack, a 9 for the second, a 19, so that will hit. A 19 for the second. 2, which is going to be our first guy here. 5 points of damage, and that guy has 5 hit points, so this guy's going down. We'll resolve his attack for it. That's going to miss. He's dead. He had no chance of hitting anyways. I think he has 2 more attacks, so a 3 and a 6. No hits. Spear guy has no chance of hitting, but we'll roll anyways. An 11. That's a miss. And he's definitely retreating at this point, so we'll give a -1 to the morale roll, which gives a 4, which is a chaotic retreat or surrender. And I think at this point, like, this goblin probably isn't going to try and run away. He's going to throw his spear down and attempt to surrender to our hero, who, as the goblin slayer, has no respect for goblins, will just kill this goblin as it tries to surrender to him. We don't let goblins. We don't acknowledge their surrender here. So we can see that in this scenario, our hero character, level 4 fighting man, which is a pretty reasonable level to get to. You only need 8,000 experience points, which, if you've had a few good delves, is totally possible in Wight Box and totally possible in 0E. He took down like a whole group of goblins by himself. And this might seem ridiculous, but we also have to consider some other things too. That in 0E, in Wight Box, there's wargame elements to this. If you look at the number of appearing for goblins, let's say in the wild, in the wilderness context, not in a dungeon context, you can have hundreds of goblins show up. And obviously, this guy's not going to be able to take out hundreds of goblins, but if he has his own army, if he has his own foot soldiers, and he's leading them into battle and just slaying these goblins left and right, while his men, who are of equal power to these goblins, is behind him also fighting and dying, you can see that it creates a very sort of epic feel, where this guy, as his fighting capability and rank and level indicates, it does feel like a hero. And to me, this is just such an elegant and simple system. And it totally throws a wrench in this whole idea that 0E is this game that is this soup. It is deadly. Because monsters with higher hit points, like the troll example, for example, which I think is 6+1 hit die, he gets 6 attacks as a normal man, that troll, with the first attack being a +1 to hit. That's pretty terrifying. So, like, you can see how this, as these guys meet on the battlefield, maybe there's a troll leading some goblins, and our hero is leading some footmen and various soldiers. They're kind of plowing through each other's forces until they meet on the battlefield, and then, it gets pretty interesting as to who's going to hit. And then he can attack once against the troll as a level 4 fighting man, and the troll would get 1 attack against him as a 6+1 hit die creature. We'd have to reference that on the table. To me, it just makes for a super interesting game that's totally different than the kind of game that many people, I think, do when they try and play 0E, and that's fill in the gaps of 0E with BX or later edition sort of duct tape to fill in the supposed gaps, when it's, to me, clear that those gaps are supposed to be filled in by chainmail. Gary says at the beginning, in the introduction at the preface, that this is a game for those that love Edgar Rice Burroughs and John Carter, for those that love Robert E. Howard and Conan the Barbarian, for those that love Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser. This is a game for people that are into those stories and are trying to simulate those as a game at the table, as a war game campaign for their friends. And I think that, to me, it's not like Gary was dumb. I don't think we can just assume that Gary's stupid and that the rules, he says that in the introduction, and then you read the rules, and it's like, if you don't use the chainmail parts, these hero characters become extremely squishy. And so it's like, what in order for Gary's statements to make sense, I think you have to have these chainmailisms in there. You have to have these things from chainmail in there to make the characters feel powerful, to feel like Conan, to feel like Fawford, to feel like John Carter in these scenarios. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Check out the sponsor, Only Crits for your dice. If you want to support the channel, you can do so by liking, subscribing, and sharing the video. If you're into this kind of stuff and you like learning and experiencing these sorts of things, it means a lot to me that you guys continually come back to watch. You can also support the channel monetarily via Patreon, right here on YouTube or my Gilded server. Keep an eye out for Wight Box. The Kickstarter will be coming soon for a boxed set. It's going to be my next Kickstarter. I'm quite excited about it, and everyone else seems pretty excited about it, and I'm going to have some other add-ons and things that will be interesting there as well. So make sure, again, like, subscribe, share the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Peace out.